Hi, this is Kelly Henderson, Director of Formed Families Forward. I am up early before my kids, hair still wet, to share a quick, less than 5 minute lesson with you about getting ready to help your child learn at home. I have this apple for you, the parent or caregiver, because you are, on many cases, now the teacher. So thank you for joining me for this webinar. I am a professional special educator, have been teaching public schools and at college level in special education for decades now. So I'm really pleased to have this opportunity to share some information with you about how to help your child get ready to learn at home in these unusual and challenging circumstances. I'm going to go through a couple very simple techniques and suggestions. First of all, as you prepare for this new task of leading school at home, it is important to do a little planning. We know from raising our kids that preparing is the key to many things, particularly if our kiddos have special needs and do best when structure is involved. So preparation is huge. Uh, Plan a little bit, doesn't have to be a huge amount of time in the night before, perhaps, in thinking about what's going to happen, what your goals are for the next day. Generally, routines are helpful, as we know, in just day-to-day life, but particularly with instructional tasks, it's really important to have some set structure. Some families feel very comfortable with a very rigid and tight schedule where they have set aside 30-minute to 45 to 60-minute blocks, and each block is dedicated to a specific subject or topic or activity. Others feel less need to be that structured, but still important to follow sort of a general similar structure each day. So maybe we do math first and then we take a break, and then we have some reading activities or some language arts activities, and then we have a art activity, something where we're creating, and then we have our lunch break. So something that at least gives some sense of semblance and structure to the day. Goals are really important, and this doesn't have to be specific, tight goals, but having an idea of what you're after in your lesson is really key. Considering whether the information you're presenting is a review or reinforcement of information that the child has already been exposed to, perhaps you're reinforcing something that they were exposed to in their virtual learning, or if you are introducing brand new information, those goals are going to vary depending on what your overall intent is. If you're reviewing and there's going to be a lot more of the child practicing and you checking, and if it's brand new information, there's going to be a lot more of you actually providing direct instruction and support and then having the child practice that. Get your materials ready, and that includes online resources. We know that many children get distracted with too much downtime, and so you can take a few minutes the night before or that morning before they get up to have materials ready. There's a picture of a desk there to remind us that sometimes having a structured location, a consistent location, is going to be really important for some kids. And it's uh, important to keep that as consistent as possible. Finally, consider motivation of your children and yourself. This is a very unusual circumstance, and we need to think about what their motivation is for participating in this learning endeavor. Similarly, what's your motivation? Are you feeling comfortable with this task? Are you trying to meet a school related expectation in terms of virtual learning? Is your goal to really reinforce the connection with your child and put academics as a secondary expectation? Then let's talk a little bit about preparing and thinking about the lesson. There's a format or structure that is very common to all lesson planning, and I share that here. The amount of time you spend on each component is going to vary depending on your lesson and your goals. But first of all, we need something that really gets them excited about this learning and connects the child to the importance of the task. Tends to be best shown rather than told. So if you can demonstrate something, if you can maybe show a video or some type of interactive opportunity, this often is more helpful to get them interested and engaged in the topic. Then we have a sort of a three-step I do, we do, you do, where we spend some time instructing directly. And again, if it's new content, you're going to spend more time doing that. If it's something that's reinforcing previous learning, you're going to spend less time doing that. But basically, you're showing them, demonstrating something to them. And again, you can use tools to do that. It's not just you and a piece of paper and a pencil. Then there's guided practice where you're working with them, guiding them through the steps of whatever process, perhaps reading some paragraphs with them, helping them identify sections of the passage that needed clarification or answered the questions that they're asked to do. And then finally, independent practice. So we're then expecting the child to do the task independently with very little direct support from you. And then finally, some type of closure for the lesson. What are the takeaways? What were the main things that you wanted the child to learn from this lesson? And maybe give a little teaser about what is expected for the next lesson. There may be some activities you expect them to do between now and the next time you have your formal school time. And then this last bullet is just a reminder that while you're not teaching this particular component of a lesson, it is really important for you to do a little reflection about what you did with your child and what worked and what didn't, so that you can make adjustments for the next day. Just a reminder that you can get lots of tips and resources on our Facebook page. We're posting every day great at-home techniques, as well as specific disability related information. And we also have lots of resources on our website. Thanks for tuning in, and call us or email us if you need anything at any time. We're here to help.